This conference will now be recorded.
Visitors, if y'all want to move forward and sit closer in, you're more than welcome to. If you want to join the conversation, hear a little bit better, you can sit on the first view if you want to. Do we have anybody for public comments?
The public, we have to show up here online, no public comments.
Okay, 2 people. Thank you. Okay. All right, item number 3, I'm going to turn it over to James here for the staff update.
Thanks, Justin. This is the last staff update on the Regional Solid Waste Management Plan. I think last time I shared that the Commission had adopted Volume 1 of our plan and was effective August 10th. There's also a Volume 2, and that had to be approved by the TCQ Executive Director. We received a letter on December 6th notifying us that Volume 2 had been approved. And I meant to include a letter. Oh yeah, it's in there. There's a letter in there, that one that we received. But our plan's been effective for 6 months now, but the process has been officially completed and we're good through 2042 now.
Nice.
Just an update on our FY24 implementation projects. We did get approval. SWAC selects them and then we have to submit them to TCQ for them to sign off on. They approved all the projects in February, and our application for the fiscal year 24-25 biennia was also approved in January. So we are fully good to go and be paying reimbursements and all that stuff for our projects. We do have one last agreement that I'm working to finalize for the Rockdale event, or the Rockdale litter cleanup. Temple had their HHW event on the 28th, which was successful, and there's some information on the next couple slides. And then those are 3 other upcoming events: March 8 and 9, Bell County Scrap Tire; April 6, Bartlett HHW; and May 4, Queens HHW event. Some info for the Temple event, and like 450 cars, and that's just the survey data we got. I think a lot of it was similar to last year's, similar mix of what people were bringing, similar mix of where people are coming from. Here's where people are coming from. About half and half first timers and haven't been before. So continues to be a good program. Justin, do you want to add anything from?
Yeah, I will say this year we held it at our new solid waste complex in Temple. We built new offices and a new transfer facility, recycling. And so we held it within our own complex grounds there. It didn't work probably as well for the first flow going through, but we learned some things, and hopefully next year we're going to change things up a little bit better and it'll work a little bit, you know. We did have people waiting in line for, at times, about an hour and a half, which is longer than we want people to wait in line. But there were some people that were there at 7 o'clock in the morning lined up, though. Also, we didn't open till 9, so you know, so that was part of it. But if you came about 1 o'clock, you could drive all the way through no problem, and we closed at 2. So it's just some education there on when, you know, how to arrive and when to get there, all that, and then the flow through our complex is going to be improved next year. Overall, great event. Appreciate your help on that. So,
of course. Some other updates there. I've shared this a few times, but there's still some openings on the MSRAC Council, which is the statewide solid waste advisory council. There's a link in the packet to that. If you know, I think it's 2 elected officials, maybe, and then 1 other position. So if you would like to encourage your elected official to apply. On February 7th, I was at the semi-annual TARP training, which is for solid waste. All the COGs have a solid waste program. There was some information shared by the Rio Grande Valley, down in the valley, their COG, on some implementation projects that they had funded. It's like a small city recycling location. Basically, they put a concrete slab and a shed on top and painted it, and we're using that and had some good success with recycling and start recycling. So, I don't know, not saying anybody has to do that, but sharing the information. And then the recycling partnership also gave a presentation. They're an entity that's doing a lot of research and into recycling and trying to provide better information. They have a whole solutions hub, and there's links in your packet to all to that report and their grants that they have available and the solutions hub. If you're a program that has recycling, you can log in and like provide them information about your program. And then for everyone else, there's like public views of recycling locations and a lot of data out there. They also told me, I talked with the lady who presented, and she was willing to come to our SWAC and give a presentation too about the work that they're doing. So that's on a later item. Air quality for January, I mean, you can see the last 6 months, but for January it was 50 parts per billion in Killeen and 45 in Temple. We did have, if it was August, September, there's quite a big spike. That was from one weekend, one weekend event that was really high. And I think some of it had to do with wildfires. So we have generally been below the 70 parts per billion threshold. And then one last thing, I just wanted to mention that we have a new SWAC member, Tyler Adele, with the City of Killeen, replaced Bill Gould. Just welcome, Tyler.
Yeah, welcome.
Nice to be here.
That's all I have for staff updates.
All right, thank you, James. Item 4 is an action item regarding approval of the August 31st meeting minutes. I'll entertain a motion if anybody wants to do so.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Johnny Wagner and a second by
Two people.
2 people. Okay,
Trying to help out.
thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries forward. Item number 5 is discussion and action item regarding accrued interest.
Thanks, Justin. So, sure, this, some of y'all probably know, but all the money we get from TCEQ for our contract, we have to put it in interest-bearing accounts. Any interest that's earned, we get to use. We had some remaining balance at the end of FY23, just short of $2,000 that was carried over to this biennium. We do have to use those funds before the end of the fiscal year. Historically, that's just been added to the whole budget for implementation projects, and staff recommends continuing to utilize those funds this way, although we can add it to other categories. Here are the events that were funded in FY24. Now, the Temple events already happened, and Nolanville, Rockdale are 2 newer ones that they're purchasing equipment. But I'll stop talking. The interest needs to be allocated to some project so we can spend it.
To one of these projects, or
That would be staff's recommendation because we have to spend it before the end of this fiscal year, and these are the projects that were funded for this fiscal year.
okay. Anybody have any ideas?
I would put it towards the scrap tire. They had to take less to accommodate the rest of the events.
Kara, can you say that again?
I recommend Bell County scrap tire event since they had to take a lesser amount to accommodate the rest of the hazardous waste events.
Yeah, I think the Bell County event.
Yeah, so if you didn't hear that, they, when they applied, they got less than they asked for and what they needed. And they seem to come up short. Tires
Yeah.
show up.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
they have a big event, yes.
And tires show up from outside of Bill County.
Yes.
It's not a bad use.
Oh.
That sounds like a good idea.
Kara, you want to propose that?
Yeah, but I can't do much.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you for the idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion for that.
I propose that we do it,
Okay.
that we move the funds to.
Second.
Seconds are hard.
Not
Yeah.
all that time.
Got a motion from Marcy to move the interest funds over to Bell County Tire event, and a second from Paul. All in favor, say aye.
All right,
Any opposed? Motion carries forward. Thank y'all.
yeah.
Dwayne will be happy.
Yeah.
All right, item number 6 is a discussion item. As y'all may have seen in the packet, John Trigg resigned. He was a industry member from Wilson Art, and he actually left his position there and took another position somewhere else. So he had to resign from the board, and wanted to discuss if anybody knows anybody that might be for industry that could represent that sector on this board.
So perhaps somebody from one of our larger industries.
I had the idea of reaching out to Niagara Bottling, and they generate a lot of recyclable goods and other things. I had that idea of reaching out to see if they would be interested. I haven't done it yet. I wanted to talk to you guys, but that's the only idea I had. But they're a large, Niagara Water and Temple, but they just built a large warehouse behind Buc-ee's. I don't know if y'all seen those
Oh.
buildings going up.
That's what they are.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought about reaching out to them, but wanted to run it by you guys first, unless y'all had somebody else in mind.
It would be good to have somebody from a larger company like that might be able to bring some new ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some willingness to take on some projects. At some point, Meta,
Yeah.
their public outreach has been very active as they're trying to come in a big old way.
Yeah.
They have somebody assigned to us that does presentations, signs for the area, and public outreach and all. That might be another one.
That might be a good one. Yeah.
But they're not fully here yet.
They're not fully here, but I have a contact there.
Yeah. I need this one, yeah.
This is really just for ideas too. I mean, it's not up to us to pick somebody. They would have to want to come. And we could have multiple people submit letters, and then we would decide. So if I don't have as much knowledge, I was telling Justin I inherited John, and he was happy to serve, which was great. But I'm sort of at a loss for who to reach out to. I mean, I could do some research on my own, but wanted dollar and solid waste. And so if you had ideas, I wanted to solicit those first. Justin.
Any other thoughts? Just kind of looking for the large industry SWAT that can bring their issues. Those are very different from, just like we have big counties and small counties. It's good to have all those voices at the table.
Okay, well, we'll work on the two that we talked about, and I'll go with James. We'll get a letter together or something once I get some names, and we'll send something out to them.
Yeah.
All right.
If someone thinks of something between now and the next few weeks, email Justin or I, let us know.
Okay, next item's discussion item only regarding our FY25 Solid Waste Grant applications and scoring guides. This is really just to see if we wanted to change anything that from our current guide our application that we did last year. Anything else you want to say about it?
The dates in the application, I know they're incorrect. I just attached what we sent out. I would update those. But yeah, if there's first time doing it, so if there's anything that could be done more clearly or recommendations or to the scoring part of it, if there's any recommendations, happy to consider those.
I harkened back to the early days when we didn't even have a thing.
Yeah, I think it's a
We were
great.
glad people just wanted to participate. So Amazing.
A scoring rubric really provides some structure. There are times when it's hard to compare the need and the demand and different aspects. I think we've always done a good job of assessing some of the demands and the needs of smaller communities.
Yeah.
And not forgetting that a lot of times they don't have the resources to make the effort they'd like to make. I think the group does a good job.
I'd say, it's a 17-page form that may be overwhelming, but I would think it would also help the applicant really kind of figure out what it is they're asking for.
Yes.
Because, we really haven't asked them. We just say, basically, can you assure us that you're going to be able to handle whatever the project is? But this actually, it'll be good for, I would think, city or county person to go to their leadership and say, this is all worked out, this is a budget, this is how we would spend it. So I think it'll help on both sides too. So it's pretty exciting, I think.
It also helps describe the expectations placed on each individual.
Yeah.
And the necessity to provide the manpower and the challenges that could arise.
And to go more on to Johnny's point, I like the fact that we can have different projects than just an HHW.
Yes.
And that's what we built into this.
Yep.
I really like that.
The benefits from those separate items, besides just the event, can have a return for years to come. So,
So it's perfect, that's what I'm hearing.
Perfect. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah.
I have to say, I didn't read the whole thing.
I read it last year. Yeah.
Look good.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll close.
I just
Sorry.
want to add something. I know, especially since we have new projects, so on staff side, we have to submit a report periodically during our grant, just reporting on how the money we're spending is being used and like what amounts of waste that are being diverted, I guess is the right word. And when we were doing just HHW events, Clean Earth would provide that information, so it was easy. But I think something, even this application is going to help because a lot of this information, I just pull it and put it into a report I send to TCQ, and they do review the budgets and they have questions and they want to see. I mean, they're pretty involved in the process for all the projects, making sure that they are allowed under TCQ rules. And so just saying that this is helpful for staff as well. And I might, as we keep going through this, there may be more edits I make to make sure the information I'm getting is good, or that staff's getting is good for what I send to TCQ as they come back and say, hey, we have questions about XYZ. And okay, well, next time I can do a better job of getting that on the application from the applicant. Like unit cost is something that came up this time. And then on the other end, on the back end, the reporting side for events that are not HHW, I've created like a little template for those events, but to get information as entities are going through a project, like if it's education, they want to know how many people it's reaching and information like that. So just adding that you may be getting more information from me. I think this is helping create a structure, but more like templates and requests for like clarity on the application, since we have a more formalized process. Try and make it as not burdensome as possible, but that's potentially coming too.
Maybe too soon to ask this question, but when are we going to open up the applications for this next fiscal year?
We can talk about it. I was thinking we make that decision at the May meeting.
At the May meeting, okay.
Normally do them in the fall, and then in August, we'll have our,
Yeah.
at our August meeting is when we
That's
select.
Yeah.
But if people have ideas or suggestions now that they wanna, I know last year was a little bit rushed and that was on staff. Missed the big timeframe window, so wanting to make sure we're setting that early this time. My thought is May, and it'll be on the agenda
So it'll be
for
on
approval in
May,
May.
okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Any other discussion on the grant applications? Okay, we'll close that item. We're moving along. As y'all know, we started this meeting earlier so we could get out of here earlier. There's a meeting in this room and we need to be out by 11, so that's why I'm kind of moving things along, but we do.
James had everything ready for us.
He did, and we're doing good on time, so we don't have to be rushed now that we're down in the close to the double digits here of items. But item number 8 is regarding lithium battery disposal, and I think Tyler was the one that asked the question.
Yes, sir.
What everybody else is doing with lithium batteries?
That if you were using call to recycle prior to January 1st, municipalities used to get a free box, as many as they needed throughout the year. Now they charge for those.
Okay.
Just kind of seeing what everyone else is doing. Are you charging for those batteries now in a fee schedule? Are you still accepting them for free for those boxes? Just kind of what was going on, or other avenues to get rid of them.
So the city of Temple, we do not take batteries. We just simply didn't deal with them. We would, when we get calls and stuff like that, we'd have, tell the residents they could go to Batteries Plus and recycle there. Batteries Plus now charges. I think it used to be free.
It was.
And
No barrel.
yeah, they're now charging. Temple Iron and Metal, I think, what's local recycler, metal recycler, they would take the cord like the bigger batteries.
Lead acid.
Yeah, lead acid batteries. Don't know if they charge for that or not, but we would just always tell our residents to go somewhere else.
Right.
Basically.
So you didn't have to mess with it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not the best approach. But
It's just something Colleen's always accepted, so
yeah.
we probably can't get rid of it.
You'll still get a pile of them.
Oh, yeah.
You
We'll
don't
drop them
buy.
off whether we want to or not.
Anybody else taking batteries?
Private business.
Yeah.
Do we have a business?
Do y'all take any batteries? No.
You send them to either a place that recycle batteries like Battery Plus, same deal, or they have large batteries, we send them to Temple Iron and Metal.
Yeah.
They accept them down there.
Yeah.
You don't take them over.
Nice, Mark?
No, we don't take them at our drop site. Actually, we haven't had anyone ask, really.
It's probably going to be a thing that's more and more, as more things are on batteries, it's going to, the lithium style batteries, it's not supposed to go in the landfill, not supposed to throw them away, so it's going to be something we're going to have to face.
Yeah.
It's technically illegal to throw any battery.
It is, it's technically, yeah. Paul, do y'all do anything for batteries? Sorry to take it long in, but.
Our At Your Door household hazardous waste program takes them. And not exactly sure what they do with them, but they take them and recycle or reuse them.
Okay.
But that's for residential.
Yeah.
As far as anything else with it, that's what we use.
We use them, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, Tyler, sorry that.
Hey, that's all the news I needed right now.
Okay. All right.
Did you happen to check with Fort Cavazos? See if they can,
I haven't yet. I know we sell our car batteries that come in. It's just pretty much the lithium vape pens and whatnot.
I'll refer them there as well whenever they have some type of HAW.
Nobody's ever said anything.
They will, as long as they have access to posts, they can take them up there. But, as far as they've done, I've had everybody tell me they got rejected.
Okay.
I'll call our at your door people and see what they're doing, if they have any ideas, and if something comes up, I'll email everybody.
Okay.
It's gonna become an issue, much like tires or anything else. They start costing people to get rid of them. We're gonna start seeing them dumped on the county roads and public right of ways, and it's gonna have to be something, it's going to be something we're gonna have to do.
Creeks.
So we need to probably need to be ahead of it before we start seeing, know what we can do.
I know our local scrap metal yard, they will take the.
Yeah.
They do?
They do not take.
They do not.
They'll
Okay.
take the lead batteries, but they will not take the.
Yeah.
I think battery plus there for a while would take the lithium batteries.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They may be taking them now since they're charging, but for a while they would take.
I'm sure that all of you share the same angst every time we have a new set of representatives going to Austin every 2 years. But it's something the state realistically is gonna have to try to find a way to get out in front of and charge a deposit type fee on even maybe some of the smallest of them.
Or go to the industry and tell them, come up with something else.
Yep.
Now, I'll dig into it and see what I can find. Email everyone.
I think Heather's gonna have something to say.
Yeah, when we finalize our electronics, URT takes them.
Okay.
So our vendor for our electronics drop-offs will take the lithium. I just looked at it.
Okay.
URT?
Yeah.
What is?
They're out of Fort Worth.
Okay.
It's a vendor's electronics vendor, Universal something.
Recycle.
Um,
It's electronic recycling.
URT Solutions. And they will, and that is, yeah, but if y'all blow them up before we get them, we'll be real mad.
Is there a fee for that?
Yeah.
So it's.
So it's a rebate situation, so they'll take them, they'll rebate you, but there's a processing fee, so. Just like a brokered load, there's a fee.
Maybe the
It's
same
the-
kind of call to recycle thing.
It's the vendor that is the one that we use for our HHW event, our electronics vendor. I'll send Justin the contact information for him and you can get it.
That'd be good. Thank you. Item number 9 is a discussion about future presentations. James, I'll kind of turn this one over to you.
Yeah, so at our last meeting in August, there was interest in, normally we just had 2 meetings a year, but there's interest in having quarterly meetings and more space for discussion. I think Dwayne, who's not here, was the one who mentioned. Several other people agreed. And so kind of similar items, like Tyler just recommended for discussion, but also presentations. I mentioned the recycling partnership in my staff update. And I know a lot of y'all use Reliable Tires, but they reached out to all the COGs and were willing to come give a presentation on tire recycling and stuff that they're doing. So just thought it would, since we're moving to a quarterly schedule, and it would be good for me as staff to have a list of ideas for topics to discuss or people to come give presentations, so I can start planning for those as they fit into our meetings. And just listed some ideas I thought. I'm not suggesting saying we have to do these things, but just some ideas to get us started.
I think it's a great idea. We used to do that a long, long time ago. People would generally ask us, can I come and talk to y'all about what we do? We're new, or we have this new program. And they would come and present something that's relevant to this group. And sometimes it was long and it wasn't relevant, and then we were sad. but James to sort that out for us. But it is good, and I do like the idea of Dwayne of, you know, just making sure we have time to flesh out some things. Because there's people sitting in here that are doing a lot of the same things in very different circumstances, and can, as y'all know, can learn from each other. You just have to provide a time and format to do that. It's a good idea.
And you could add Keep Gatesville Beautiful. They just started their program and they're super active. And if you needed somebody to come in here and talk about how they started from the ground up, they've been really successful. Just to add that as possible.
That's a good idea.
I know also keep Texas beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, the kind of the affiliate of all the city affiliate, you know, we call it the parent. You know, that would be a good one to kind of see what they're doing and what programs they have and things that we may be able to adopt in our communities as well.
How many KTV affiliates do we have? It's Tipple and Cove. Gatesville now.
Yeah.
Lee has a. Keep.
I know they used to, because we actually got Roxanne.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
We definitely had.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Anyway, some of the smaller communities.
Nolanville has.
I was starting to say Nolanville, Arizona, in Salado. So,
Salado has one.
yeah, it's,
When it's in solid,
yeah, that's great. We provide an opportunity to get all of them together.
Get all of them here and then.
Yeah, then they can,
Exactly.
we can foster some
Yeah.
stuff going on.
Yeah.
That's another organization where you kind of have to learn on your own.
Any other discussion on that?
So just to say, if you come across a great vendor or somebody that knows something about the common topic, to remember to send that to James as a suggestion.
Yeah.
Or a presentation. Kind of benefit everyone.
If you have an opportunity with the recycling partnership, they're amazing. Like, that's
Yeah.
where we're getting a lot of help from. They're amazing.
yeah, again, I'll just mention those in the packet, there's links and you can click on them and go, but that last one is on the resources and they have, and their website has a ton of stuff, but if you're looking or you know people who are interested in starting a program, I would go to them. Or if you have a city that wants to start a curbside program, I know they have their biggest grant is specifically for carts to provide curbside services. So if that's something you want, or you know your city wants, like, I think they'd be happy to help out, and they don't provide, you know, anyways, they're great.
Mhm.
Thanks, Heather.
Kara, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
We're moving on to item number 10, just members' comments and discussions, and I know that you sent a link this morning. It's going to give you the opportunity to speak about that if you want to.
Okay, I mean, I know it's not on the agenda specifically, but I've been looking at Keep Land Beautiful, and they seem to run a very successful MRF that involves several counties and municipals. And so I thought it might be worthwhile bringing them in to talk about the steps they took in order to get a regional MRF. And it's run by Keep Land Beautiful, which is kind of amazing to me that had a function in the MRF part of it. They also had a very cool incentive for if people picked up litter within their neighborhoods, they could go to a restore and exchange it for like a used item. And I went through their items, and it was actually a pretty cool things to incentivize. So anyway, it's just something to think about is like drive on the roads and some of the spots that I get annoyed with where there's a bunch of trash accumulation. I'm like, well, maybe that could be used for like some targeted cleanups. So
That is neat, yeah.
So that is interesting. I did not catch that, Kara, when I looked at the site briefly this morning. That Keep Pearland Beautiful is basically running a regional partnership. Is that right?
yeah, and I know that from a different source, and then I went and looked them up, and then saw these other things that they were doing. It was just very innovative group. I sent James a little excerpt of what their MRF operation looks like. But I sent that after and just to him since it wasn't an agenda item. Yeah, and it kind of reminded me of the fact that we have the Habitat for Humanity who will take all these construction materials that are left over and then they sell them in the store. I don't know if there might be a thrift store or somewhere like they're using Goodwill or one of those agencies to try to do something similar.
Well, thank you for sharing that. If everyone hasn't had a chance to look at the link this morning that was sent out.
Yeah.
Kara sent that this morning.
And we don't have like, Habitat had a restore place, I know in Temple briefly, years and years ago. And we don't in our region, our county, that y'all are here, have a facility like that, taking or other things to resell. No?
Yeah, Habitat still has a restore in Killeen. I think it's a better location, so it's more visible, but they do actually go out and pick up those unused construction materials, and that's another thing that we can remind like the region as a whole is that they don't have to scrap unused material. It can donate it and can be resold.
That's very cool, and it's actually, Karen, there's something, we're in planning stages right now at the city, but last meeting I talked about paint reblending, and we're gonna be opening a facility where we not only have recycle drop-off facility, but, and do the paint reblending, where people can bring their paint to us and we make a new color out of it by mixing all the paint that we get. But we're also going to we're partnering with two other departments in the city. One of them is Transform Temple, where we're going to have a tool library there so people can come check out tools. And then also our community housing development department will have building materials and stuff that has historical value that you don't want to throw away, like old windows or something like that. We're going to have a place where we can store that and people can come and get that material as well and reuse it. So it's something very similar that we're in the stages of planning right now as well.
Yeah, so you pick up or add the little litter pickup component to it, and then you got a really cool initiative with Keep Temple Beautiful potentially.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a super good idea. It reminded me of when I think Fort Worth still does this. Is they do stuff for the homeless population by paying them to pick up trash. And if you go into the Fort Worth underpasses, they're way cleaner than Dallas, so you can see it has an impact.
Yeah. Very good. The floor is still open.
Yeah, I've got one thing. April 8th, the big eclipse.
Yeah.
And
thank you
we're getting all kind of opinions on how it's going to be. Of course, we're here in the path of totality. How is everyone handling that day as far as your vendor or if you do your own waste pickup, how's everybody handling that? Have y'all thought about it? Because we've been going back and forth on it a little while and have made a decision, but I was wondering what's the thoughts around the room on that day?
I could talk for City of Temple. We've already decided we're gonna not run residential routes that day. So we're pushing our residential routes a day later in the week. We're not gonna run on that Monday. We're gonna run our commercial routes for the restaurants and the hotels and, hospitals, everything else. But we're hoping to be done by about noon that day and go home. So.
You can get home.
If you get home, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause at 1:30, something's happening.
Yeah. And, we made that same decision yesterday.
Okay.
So that's just making sure we're on par with everything.
Yeah, and I've even talked to your counterparts at the landfill and told them that, we're not gonna be running trucks, and I don't know how many other cities are gonna be running trucks all day, but the landfill may be looking at closing earlier that day as well. So that's up to them, of course, and who they need to, they're not just City of Temple, but but yeah, we've had those conversations already.
Same here, we're doing the same thing, we're running our commercial, and then Monday,
Yeah.
our residential collections, they'll pick up on Tuesday. We're also running through the weekend.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people show up,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm running Friday, Saturday, possibly Sunday.
Be sure everyone from about 1:20 to 1:40 can be off duty to get outside and take a look.
Hamilton County, we've been dealing with it with more of an emergency management perspective and trying to keep our resources available and ready and available, be it whatever the need is. I personally, I'll be the one to say it, I hope it's raining. It's cloudy and raining that day. And then people choose another venue to view it.
Yeah.
I've heard the
Get
horror
rain on your
stories.
town.
I've heard the horror stories.
Well,
I know the strain on the resources that it can place, from whether it be EMS, fire, traffic,
fuel.
well,
Cell
the
phones.
resources.
Cell
Yeah.
phone. It's
Try to help
it's
stay
a
home
life
if you
event.
can.
It's a life event.
Those of us who cannot will not be allowed to stay home. Part of the mitigation plan, the hazard mitigation plan,
Yeah.
what could happen. I mean, we all plan for the worst and hope for the best, right? Anybody that can stay home, realistically.
Yeah, well, that's what we're trying to do. Schools are out, businesses are closed. That's the way,
Yes.
that's the way to help.
Don't add to the problems that are gonna be out there. Period.
Well, our fire and police chiefs, they're looking at getting mobile fuel trucks just to keep their vehicles,
Our EMC has already,
because they think the gas stations are gonna run out.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they're looking at, so.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
there is a large effect that is not planned for. I mean, seriously, draw your drinking water ahead of time, not just one day, 2 to 3 days, because if we have trouble with the electrical grid, if we have trouble with city services, if we have trouble with any one of the essential services that we rely on that we don't think about, your cell phones could largely be irrelevant. Be prepared with radios, with whatever is necessary. Have your people where you can put your hands on them. My wife is a nurse. The hospital's already planning to be open the entire weekend, not just the hospital, but the clinic to deal with non-emergency traffic.
It'll be a big couple of days.
We could be looking at the worst Friday evening before deer season anyone has ever seen. I don't know how else to equate it. I mean, if you've ever been in a small town in and around the hill country or central Texas, when everybody that is in the city wants to be in the country,
that's the best I can do for you. I mean,
Yeah, this is everybody in the country who
Yes.
wants to be in Texas.
Yes,
In Central
In
Texas.
Central Texas.
and the worst case scenario is that a huge number of people need emergency services, need medical attention.
Just by the numbers, a certain percentage. The other thing yesterday that had not occurred to me, that came up at the town hall, is, so, million here, Central Texas, more in Dallas area, just because there's more people to go see people. If it's cloudy in Dallas, they gotta head straight down 35 and get to clear skies.
That's why I hope it's rain. Cloudy and rain.
There's too many people.
I'm sorry.
Wanting the opposite. It's gonna be offset.
I mean,
It's very cool, it's a very cool thing to go.
there's people coming in from overseas, like,
Yeah.
that,
So I've been through a total eclipse, and it is a life. Yeah, really.
It's cool, but I don't understand.
I have a presentation for that.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to come see us, it's like, that's fine, but I am probably going to South Texas, so it'll be drier.
Yeah.
Last one was in August, and so clouds was not a huge problem for most of the country, but it is for us.
Well, that sounds like we're on par with what everybody else is doing. I think it's a good idea.
You
Yeah.
brought that up.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up.
The last thing cities need is to be dealing with trash trucks going through neighborhoods, which is, and having added on to, you know, to their issues.
Well, if you think, if people do stay home, which I hope they do, cars will be parked on the street.
Yeah.
Everybody, collection is gonna be impossible. Getting down the street, it's gonna be impossible, so.
And these people that are here to view when the event takes place, they're not where they want to be. They're just going to pull over on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And the traffic problems and the challenges with keeping people safe that are looking up at the sky with a welding helmet on, unaware of their surroundings, unaware of the.
Except, actually, what they're thinking is they won't pull over, because it's gonna be gridlock already at the time of the event.
35 will be shut out.
Yeah, the typical EOS person was telling us that they've been meeting for months, counties and
Yes,
all that.
18 months or
But
better.
they asked TxDOT, like, if we're in gridlock, and it just, won't come apart, what are y'all gonna do? And TxDOT just said, oh, we're gonna have bulldozers staged to push cars off.
No.
Okay, there we go. That'll fix it.
I need the EOC.
Sorry. I've done that before.
Yeah. Any other topics anybody wants to bring up? All right, well, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you all.
That's me.
Yeah, May 2nd, sorry, I should have said that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Tentative.